Hello everyone. So in this video, I want to talk about one really important topic of Jira, a feature of Jira which I believe you should spend time on, especially if you are someone who is responsible for training your employees or managers, and if you want people to be efficient when it comes to using Jira, then CSV import is one such feature, one such thing that you should focus on. And it is important because when it comes to CSV import, you can not only like bulk import issues in Jira, but you can also produce some templates for your people, for your teams to follow. For example, uh, just to give you, some examples. Let us say you work in sprints, and for each and every kind of epic that you want to deliver, there are certain stories that you always have to deliver. For example, if you are building some, I don't know, maybe you're doing some app work where you need to always do some API work, then login work, and then set up infrastructure. So I'm sure when it comes to software development, there are certain activities that you need to do all the time. Now, you can always use automation rules to create these stories automatically. But to be honest, automation rules can only, I mean, you can use automation rules to do these automations for those strict processes, but not really for each and every use case. Sometimes you need to basically do things manually, and to be honest, you can still create stories manually, but if you can produce templates that will bulk import stories and also associate them with some epics, it will save a lot of time for your scrum masters. At the same time, when I mentioned different templates, by the way, I made a video on my channel on CSV import, and I think I have made few videos, and I also have like a GitHub repository where you can find like a very nice template that actually covers different use cases. So when you have different templates that will teach people how to create stories under an epic and also create a subtask under those stories. At the same time, you can also teach them how to create issues that are linked to each other. And when you create these different templates, of course, these templates are nothing but the actual CSV file, but you can also somewhere publish the configuration files, and it will of course give your Jira users, especially managers or people who manage the work, it will give them this ability to quickly get things done. Another example is that, of course, I'm talking about stories, but there could be an example of importing test cases, because when it comes to stories under an epic, maybe under the same epic, you may want to have 10 stories, and then for each and every story, you may want to have some test cases associated. So you can actually create these templates, and not only for stories and subtasks, but also for test cases. And at the same time, when you are publishing these templates, you should also talk about some limitations, because if you don't really have the Jira admin rights, I think updating is not really possible. I think last time I checked, especially on Jira Data Center, you can definitely bulk import, but not really bulk edit. However, you can teach people how to bulk edit, and this is something that I do a lot, to be honest. When I if I look at the work that I do, majority of the work is actually doing very basic simple things in Jira, and usually those basic simple things cover 80% of the use cases when it comes to using Jira. If you know how to do these simple things, of course, an automation is there now, but automation will cover a lot of those cases where you need to do something on a specific case. It's like a case by case automation, but with the help of automation, there is a limit of what you can do. Especially, I'm talking about Jira Cloud Automation. And the other thing that I want to talk about is, of course, teach people how to work with CSV import, but also talk about and train people on REST API, because many people who, to be honest, even right now, majority of people who use Jira, they are usually developers or they are from tech background. And if you teach them, or if you help them, or make it easier for them to use Jira using APIs, basically their own shell script or programming language, so they can actually do a lot of wonderful things, like they can maybe write a macro. So maybe you can publish some macros for them, like VB macros. That is what I used to do quite a lot uh, in one of the companies where I worked. And you can also publish some curl examples. And by the way, on my channel, I have lots of videos on Jira, REST API. I have shared various shell scripts using curl, of course, curl command. So on my channel, of course, I do talk about these things, but I'm just sharing things that you can do if you want your Jira rollout to be successful. Because when people start using Jira, and especially if they have come from a different background or different tools, they might feel frustrated. And Jira, of course, is just a tool. It has some features, but you can there are some gaps when it comes to using a tool, any tool, and you can fill the gaps, or you can at least try to fill those gaps by maybe creating some training videos for them, or documentation for them, or maybe sharing those code snippets, or as I mentioned, templates for CSV import. And these things, of course, can be done by anyone. Of course, no, when it comes to REST API, anyone who has Jira account can interact with Jira using REST API. CSV import, same, based on the permissions, people can import bulk issues in Jira, and similarly for bulk edit. So these are the things that anyone can do, and of course, you as a Jira administrator, someone who is responsible for the tool, you should ensure that people know about these features, and that is why training is important. So that is all. That is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.